Ladies and gentlemen, Democrats do this all the time, and media covers up for them. So Chuck Schumer made a really horrible statement. He made a horrible statement. He said that the Supreme Court and especially Trump's appointees or Trump's nominees will pay the price for awful decisions. Okay. Then he said, well, I just meant a political price. Okay, it wasn't as nefarious as it would have been. Schumer's not a despot or authoritarian. It's just okay. So he can go ahead and intimidate and make threatening statements. That's fine. Because then Schumer comes back and says, gosh, I just meant a political price. And that's true. Kavanaugh and Gorsuch will pay a political price. You can't do that. John Roberts, you've just put John Roberts on the same side as President Trump. So both of them condemn the remarks. But this is a New York Times article. John Roberts condemns Schumer for saying justices will pay the price for awful decisions. Senator Chuck Schumer, speaking while the court, directed his criticism at President Trump's two Supreme Court appointees. Could you imagine if Republicans had done this to two President Obama appointees, or two President Obama's appointees? Washington, Chief Justice John Roberts, who only very rarely responds to criticism of federal judges, issued a statement on Wednesday denouncing remarks made by Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, the Democratic leader, at a rally outside the Supreme Court. Here's another issue also. Democrats don't realize they lost with Clinton. They will lose with Clinton again in 2020. They cheated Bernie in 2016. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign in disgrace. The DNC emails showed that Bernie Sanders was cheated. It was a rigged primary. Okay. This primary is rigged also, but there are other issues at play. Bernie Sanders is not going to win. He's being cheated, and also there's a combination of his movement has been run into the ground by a bunch of pundits and just things that he's done. So that's another story. But the issue here, ladies and gentlemen, is that you have a political party that will not accept reality. You have a political party that simply, if they don't get their way, they want to intimidate, they want to denigrate, and they want to mock anyone in a position of authority or influence or any. Well, Trump won. So because Trump won, because Democrats cheated in 2016, or whatever, even if you think that Russia hacked the DNC to inform the country that Bernie was cheated. Oh, I'm sorry, that's competing propaganda spins. So Hillary Clinton won fair and square in 2016. So there's no evidence that she rigged the election or Democrats rigged the election, but Russia hacked the DNC for some unknown reason, just to get emails that were embarrassing but didn't show that Bernie was really cheated. And Clinton won the popular vote, but in swing states, Facebook ads swung the election. Anyway, they knew that they had to win the Electoral College. Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin hadn't voted for a Republican since the 80s. So now you have Chuck Schumer, who is, he's like completely unhinged now. Mr. Schumer, speaking while the court heard arguments in a major, attacked President Trump's two Supreme Court appointees, Gorsuch and Kavanaugh. Quote, you have released the whirlwind and you will pay the price. You have released the whirlwind? Okay, what does that even mean? Could you imagine they would actually attribute, Trump said whirlwind. This other horrible figure in world history said whirlwind or something similar, and so Trump is like that. And Trump, it really meant, he's trying to talk about physical harm. Trump is, oh my God, the authoritarian in our midst. With Schumer, it's like, it's okay. He just meant it in terms of a metaphor, he just, it was a figurative. It was in the figurative sense. He didn't really mean what he said. You have released the whirlwind and you will pay the price. First of all, nobody cares what Schumer thinks about anything. Even Democrats don't care. But it's not good to make it's hyperbole. but it's not good to make those kind of statements or that kind of statement. Now, whenever Trump disagrees with a court decision, he doesn't say you'll pay the price. He says this was wrong for whatever reason. And then Democrats just pounce on it. They say, oh my God, how dare you? You will not know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions. So there you go. It's pretty clear cut. You will not know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions. Like what more do you what more do you want as a country or I'm sorry, what more do you how much more overt and direct and intimidating can you get? Trump has never said anything close to this regarding the Supreme Court or any federal courts. You will not know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions. I mean, they would say that he was, who knows what Democrats would have said, how they would have reacted, how they would have spun the words if President Trump stated the same things as Chuck Schumer. You will not know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions. And could you imagine if President Trump was focused on specific nominees from Democratic judges, from Democratic presidents? Could you imagine? They would spin this to no end. Chief Justice John Roberts condemned Mr. Schumer's remarks. Justices know that criticism comes with the territory, but threatening statements of this sort from the highest levels of government are not only inappropriate, they are dangerous. He said all members of the court will continue to do their job without fear or favor from whatever quarter. Look, you knew that if you lost the election in 2016, you knew that if you went with Clinton and lost, that Trump would pick Supreme Court judges. You knew that. Democrats knew the rules. You knew you had to win the Electoral College. See, Clinton says rules are rules. Rules are rules. Just recently, she said rules are rules after, breaking State Department guidelines and policies and rules and federal legal statutes pertaining to transferring top secret and special access program intelligence. Clinton had servers for 4 years that had top secret and special access program intelligence. This is the biggest blind spot one of the biggest blind spots in U.S. history. Nobody seems to understand that it was the most overt criminal act one of the most overt criminal acts of all time that nobody seems to realize was a criminal act. Because, whatever. I explain in But Her Top Secret Emails and But Her Deleted Emails on Amazon. If you have Kindle, the ebooks are below the links in the pinned comment. But the issue here is that Schumer Clinton's going to be nominee again. Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. They are not going to go with Biden on the centennial of the 19th Amendment. And none of this whole thing was choreographed. This whole thing, just miraculously, Bloomberg left right after Super Tuesday, and you had Klobuchar and Mayor Pete leaving right before Super Tuesday, the day before. Just a coincidence? No, just like that wasn't a coincidence. You have a situation where Clinton knows very well the whole thing is a charade. And at the end of the day, they can't possibly go with Biden, who says he wants to run for Senate, and who will thank Benjamin Lincoln, one of our founding mothers. So you can't possibly go with Biden. That's not even... They're going to find some way to go with Clinton. Clinton will be the nominee, just like they found some way for Amy Klobuchar and Mayor Pete and Bloomberg to leave and Warren to leave and the app not to work in Iowa. They work like God. Democrats work in mysterious ways. But anyway, this is an example of a very vile form of politics. They're powerless, yet they want to portray the image of that they can't be messed with, and they want to portray the image that they're tough, and that so then Schumer says, "Oh, I didn't mean that it would be a physical. I didn't mean to intimidate. I went I meant, well, I just meant that they're going to pay a political price. Okay. Then Schumer last month condemned Trump for attacking a federal judge. Here. So even CNN, of course, Schumer crossed the line, and then GOP went into hypocrisy overdrive. So you can't ever, and here we go. To be sure, Schumer did cross a line. No, he didn't just cross a line. Trump never said, here, so if you, so if he called for Schumer to be arrested and impeached, that's a different. So then CNN said, well, he called for Schumer to be impeached. Yeah, then Schumer called for Trump to be impeached. You're not talking about apples and apples here. And then he made statements that have nothing to do with what Schumer said. Still nothing. And then they'll take things out of context. So CNN is like hilarious. Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel. To my Patreon supporters, thank you. I'll be back today. We'll do a couple of live streams and uploads. And thank you so much. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel. Subscribe. They have nothing. They can't possibly make everything morally. They can't make this morally relative, because what Schumer said was, not only will you pay a price, you will not know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions. Very specific and precise in the intimidating nature and the kind of vague, intimidating nature of this. Give me your obviously. Schumer is not. He's trying to portray the illusion of political power when he has none. But you don't do that by intimidating and insulting and threatening in a manner that Trump has never done. He has never said anything close to, you will not know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions. That's a threat. That's an overt threat. Give me your thoughts below. You can, Trump said this. Still not that. Still not what Schumer said. Give me your thoughts. Thank you so very much.